Hey guys, welcome back to Yourmonger's Hobby Time. Today we're doing another deck tech sort of rundown thing. The commander we're running is Tor Wakai, or Waku, the Younger. He's a legendary creature human archer. He has reach and lifelink. So his text reads, if another source you control will deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Tor Wakai deals 2 damage to any target. So that's pretty good. We're gonna have him up in the corner here. Yep, up in the corner. There we go. So the main things we are running, we'll go for the lands first, because the lands are kind of the veggies. We don't really. Everyone likes their veggies, or some people don't like their veggies. But regardless, we're running through the veggies. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mountains. So that's 9 mountains. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 swamp. We got 9 mountains, 9 swamp. That's 18 basic lands. For our non-basics, the veggies that are coated in a nice sauce, we've got Command Tower, so we can tap for any mana that is our commanders. We've got both Thriving Moor and Thriving Bluff, just because, it's good to have options. We've got a Geothermal Bog. We've got a Tramway Station for that card draw when we don't need a Tramway Station anymore. We've got a Drostforge Bridge. Oop, not in fame. There we go. We've got Rakdos Guildgate, Exotic Orchard, Temple of Malice, enters the battlefield scrying 1. We've got a Rakdos Canarium, just a bounce land. Bloodfell Caves, gives us a life. Luxury Suite, enters untapped if I have 2 or more opponents, which usually I do. And a Castle Loch Thwain, which is I can draw a card and then lose life equal to the number of cards I've drawn. Not bad. Not bad at all. I quite like it. In fact, I like the mana base. It's very simple. It's very sweet. Apart from the mana base, we've got our sort of our mana ramp. So for the mana ramp, we're running a Rakdos Locket. Pretty standard. We've got a Rakdos Keyrune. Standard as well. Well, not necessarily standard, but it's decent for what it is. A Cluestone. I like it. I like the Cluestone. A Sol Ring. Standard stuff. A Everflowing Chalice. And a Felwar Stone. Mainly because I couldn't find my Rakdos Signet, so at one point I might put the Rakdos Signet in here. But yeah. Those are the non-basic, those are the artifacts we're running. The very simplistic and very simple artifacts. But they're not really, they're important, but they're not exactly the piece de resistance of this deck. The piece de resistance is the permanent, is the sources, the permanents, I should say. So we're going for the creatures next. We've got a Gutter Snipe. Enters the battlefield, it'll deal 2 damage to each opponent every time I cast an instant or sorcery. I think you might know what's going to happen. Alright, so we've got Ill-Tempered Loner. Enters the battlefield, nothing happens, but if it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage back. That's pretty nice. But, if I can flip it, which not all the time, but if I can, I will play this, Halpak Avenger. If you want a permanent you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target. So, it's pretty good. I quite like it. I think it's pretty sweet for what it does. So if I'm going to be casting spells that hit all of my creatures for 1 damage, then someone's going to be dealt damage. It works, but I haven't gotten to the best bits yet. We're going through kind of the good bits, but not the best bits. We've got the Thermo Alchemist. Taps, deals a damage to each opponent. We've got Tor Waku on the field. That means it deals 2 damage to each opponent. I should have also reinstated that, yes, Gutter Snipe is going to be dealing 2 damage to each opponent. If Tor Wakai is on the field, it's going to be doing 3 damage. Same thing for Ill-Tempered Loner. Pestilent Spirit. Instant and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch. So if I'm playing if I have, let's say, I don't know, a spell that deals 1 damage to each creature, and I have Pestilent Spirit on the field, that's going to kill every creature on the field as long as it doesn't have Indestructible. Chandra's Incinerator. Can you see that? I think you can. Yes, you can. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the number of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. It's going to be a lot. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, Chandra's Incinerator deals damage deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker that player controls. So, something deals 2 damage to Ill-Tempered Loner, Chandra's Incinerate is on the field, Ill-Tempered Loner is going to deal 2 damage to another creature, and then Chandra's Incinerator is going to deal 2 damage to that creature again. I love this deck to death. We've got a Mage Hunter. This is going to stop people from playing spells because they're going to lose life. Well, not stop them, but deter them just a little bit. Because, as you know, I've got things like Torwakai. So what it's going to do is it's going to double that damage. Hellkite Whelp, it's attacks. It deals 1 damage to target creature. So it might be, that's 2 damage instead. And some of these are in here because I kind of like them, not because they're good. I can tell you right now, not all of them are good. We've got Smoldering Egg. So it's got Defender. It's pretty good. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a number of egg counters onto Smoldering Egg equal to the mana of that spell. Then, if it has 7 or more Ember counters, transform it. And its transformed form is special. And by special, I mean fucking horrific. It's called Ashmouth Dragon. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to any target. I've got Gutter Snipe on the field. Now it's going to deal 4 damage. They're both going to deal 2 damage. But then you've got Torwakai, who's going to deal +1 of that damage, so it's 3 damage. Then, he also deals 2 damage if I cast instants or sorceries. It's a fucking burn deck! I don't know why I'm shouting. I'm excited, okay? Fuck you all. We've got Drakuseth, Maw of Flames. When he, you know it, you might not know it, but whenever he attacks, it deals 3 damage to any 2 other targets and 4 damage to any target. So you're hitting 3 things for 4, 3, and 3. It's pretty good. We've got Niheb the Eternal for when we've cast our delicious, tasty spells, dealt delicious, tasty damage, and we have more spells to cast, but we don't have the mana. Now we do with Niheb, because he at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you add 1 red mana for each life your opponents have lost this turn. So if they've lost 3 life, you get 3 red mana, 4 life, 4 red mana, and so on and so forth. We have Hitagetsu. We pay 3, tap it, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. If it's a non-land card, it's going to be, most likely, he's going to deal that much damage, equal to its mana value to any target. Torwakai gives it +1, so if it's 3, it's 4. If it's 4, it's 5. It's fucking recurring. It's so cool! I am so happy with this. We've got Stormfist Crusader for a little bit of the political play. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses a life. Torwakai doubles that damage to 2. Not really doubles it, but he gives it a decent amount. We've got Lightning Rig Crew. You tap it, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. You cast a pirate spell, you tap Lightning Rig Crew. I don't have a pirate spell, but I put it in here because it's tapping all the time, and that's good. We've got Myra's Outrider. Like I said, not all of these are good. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control. So, at a maximum, it's going to deal 2 damage. Like I said, it's not great, but it's there for what it is. We've got a Monodrone Shaman. At the beginning of your upkeep, if no spells were cast each last turn, untap it. Oh, no, not untap it. Transform it. I'm sorry. And when it transforms into Tolvalar's Mage Hunter. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells, transform it, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, it deals 2 damage to that player. It's getting somewhere! Yeah, it's getting somewhere, alright. It's getting somewhere deep and uncomfortable. It's getting into the sewers. We're getting into them salt factories, lads. Alright, so we've got ourselves another creature. We've got a Stuffy Doll. So, if I can't kill creatures, I'm just going to try and kill Stuffy Doll with the largest amount of damage that I possibly can do. And then it's going to double that damage because Torwakai is going to deal it +1. So that damage is going to keep coming up, and then Stuffy Doll's going to keep dealing more damage. So effectively, I'm not doubling the damage, but I'm getting +2 to the damage instead of +1. It's pretty good. We've got Karavik, the Merciless. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, it deals that much damage equal to its converted mana cost to any target. We've got Solfim, Mayor of Mayhem Dominus. So if a source you control will deal post-combat damage, non-combat damage, I should say, to opponent, it deals double that damage instead. Oh, that's fucking cool. I love it. And then we've also got Kessig Flame Breather, which is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it deals that much damage. It deals 1 damage to an opponent or creature. Like, it's a burn deck, and it's a pretty good burn deck. And I believe I'm running about 21 creatures. I'll have to give it a quick look. But realistically, it doesn't matter how many creatures there are. They're kind of the meat and potatoes, you know. They're getting there. They're hitting creatures with non-combat damage, like Tor Wakai, and he's doubling damage. Well, not doubling it. He's effectively giving it +1. So I'm very excited with this because it's really, really, really cool. Just going to take a quick sip. So just, that's really, really good. Peach, delicious. All right, next we've got our sorceries. So we've had the creatures. Now it's time to get to the spells. So the first spell we're running is Insult and Injury. If damage can't be prevented, and if a source you control would deal damage, it deals double. That's a win. It's not necessarily win con, but it's going to help me get to the win. We've got Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Deals X damage to up to 3 target creatures. That's pretty damn good. I like that quite a lot. It's not going to... It's effectively... It's my... If I can pump this motherfucker enough, I could potentially knock out a person. We've got Rough and Tumble. So it will be Rough is it deals 2 damage to each creature without flying, and Tumble deals 6 damage to each creature with flying. Effectively, it's a board wipe if I have the creature that gives all my spells Death Touch. Hazardous Blast. It deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control, and your creatures your opponents control can't block. The only reason why I chose this is not because of the creatures you control can't block. That's nice. But the big thing is, it means that I'm always... It deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. That becomes 2 damage. And I also get to deal 2 damage to any target. It's effectively punishing my opponents for having tokens. Like more token creatures and stuff that are smaller. I like it. It's Elf Ball Hate, and I like Elf Ball Hate. I find it funny. We've got Cosmotronic Wave. Deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control, and they can't block. Same as Hazardous Blast. Still pretty good. We've got Excavation Explosion. It deals 3 damage to any target. Create a tapped Power Stone token. That's just a little bit more mana ramp, but dealing the 3 damage to any target is quite nice. Royal Eruption. It will deal 3 damage to any target, and if it's kicked for 5, it deals 5 damage to a target instead. I like it a lot. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We've also got Siphon Soul. Deals 2 damage to each other player, so basically my opponents, and I gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So that's not going to be 2 damage. That's going to be 3 damage. Wait, no, it is only going to be 2 damage. But it's potentially going to be more if it's doubled. Or, actually, no, yeah. It's just going to be 6. Maybe. I have to check the rules on that. But regardless, we've got Fiery Confluence. Choose 3. You may choose more than 1. So you can deal 1 damage to each creature, deal 2 damage to each opponent, or destroy target artifact. I believe I'm going to be dealing 2 damage to each opponent. / 1 damage to each creature, regardless. We've got Browbeat. So any player may have Browbeat deal 5 damage to them. If no one does, I draw 3 cards. Quite lovely. We've got Flame Rift. Deals 4 damage to each player. Quite lovely. We've got Grape Shot. Deals 1 damage to any target, but whenever I cast this spell, copy it for each spell cast before this turn. Lovely. We've got Mana Geyser. Add 1 red for each tapped land your opponents control. So on my turn, if my opponents have tapped almost all their land, well, I get a decent chunk of mana. As well as End the Festivities, which is deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. I quite like it quite a lot. So, I have a few kind of combos to set up to win the game. We're going to go through them at the end of this video because I think that might be a good way of going through it. For our instance, which is the other side of the meat and potato, like the other sort of the... Let's say the gravy. For the gravy, we've got Cinderclasm. These food analogies aren't working. Cinderclasm deals 1 damage to each creature, and if it was kicked, it deals 2 damage instead. Excuse me. We've got Mirrodin Avenged. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. Quite lovely, quite lovely. We've got Rakdos Charm. Choose one. Exile all cards from a player's graveyard. Destroy target creature, target artifact, I should say, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. Special. Orcish Cannonade. Deals 2 damage to any target and 3 damage to you. Draw a card. Shredded Sails. Destroy target artifact. 4 damage to target creature with flying. Special. Riddle of Lightning. Choose target creature or player. Scry 3. Then reveal the top card of your library. Riddle of Lightning deals 3 damage, or damage, I should say, damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to a creature or player. That is quite lovely. I quite like that. Because I've got some decently large spells in this one. Abrade deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. Comet Storm. Multi-kicker of 1. So it's 2 red, and then I multi-kick 1. Choose any target, then choose another target. For each time this spell was kicked, Comet Storm deals X damage to each of them. Yeah, it's getting there. We've got Scorching Dragonfire. Deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile it instead. Lightning Strike. Deals 3 damage to any target. Sizzling Barrage. Deals 4 damage to target creature that blocked this turn. Some decent control. Electrify. Deals 4 damage to target creature. Volcanic Fallout. This spell can't be countered. Deal 2 damage to each creature and each player. Quite nice. Invoke Calamity. You may cast up to 2 instant and sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying the mana cost. If those spells would be put into your graveyard, exile them instead. Exile Invoke Calamity. So, theoretically, we could potentially not necessarily knock out a player, but deal some hefty damage with those spells. Let's get into the more let's get into the cheeky artifacts and the semi super friends. So for the cheeky artifacts, we are running Mind Crank. Whenever an opponent loses life, that player mills that many cards. Guy's Flame Reservoir. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a charge counter on Guy's Flame Reservoir. Pay 2, tap it, remove any number of charge counters. Guy's Flame Reservoir deals that much damage to any target. Or pay 2, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Quite lovely. We also have a Jaya Emoliator. I can't remember what the full name of it is, but we've got Jaya. But this is the weeby version, because I'm a weeb. The text basically reads, the bottom text don't worry much, but basically, if a source you control would deal damage, it deals that much damage plus 2. Now, I don't know if you know this, but giving it plus 2 plus Torwakai makes it plus 3 instead. Quite lovely. Well, it adds that plus 1, so it's now plus 3 instead of just plus 2, or plus 1. Koth, Fire of Resistance. Search your library for a basic mountain card. Reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle. Neg 3 deals damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control. And -7, you get an emblem with. Whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target. That's quite nice. I like that. I like that quite a lot. We've also got Chandra's Flames Fury, I should say. +1 deals 2 damage to any target. Neg 2 deals 4 damage to any target, to target creature, and 2 damage to that creature's controller. And Neg 8 deals 10 damage to target player and each creature that player controls. It's quite lovely. It's quite lovely. So yes, I have some ways of dealing a decent amount of burn damage. And I like burn, because I have played a few guys at my group who plays burn, and I find it fascinating. So I decided to build it. For our card draw, this one is a little bit less special, because it's basically just card draw. We've got Electric Revelation, discard a card, draw 2 cards, and it's got flashback. Unexpected Windfall, discard a card, draw 2 cards, create 2 treasure tokens. Tormenting Voice, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Thrill of Possibility, discard a card, draw 2 cards. And last but not least, Blood Pact. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. They're all pretty special. You know, they're not perfect. They're just kind of average. But we have a new spell type that has only just recently been added that I find quite interesting. Invasion of Ragatha. It's our only battle card in this deck. So, the way it works, for those who don't know, is it enters the battlefield, you choose an opponent to protect it. Now, you and others can attack it, and when it's defeated, you exile it. Then you, the player who cast the spell already, cast it transformed. So when it enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to another target creature, or to another target battle, or opponent, and deals 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. And it's got +5. It's only got like 5. So you have to hit it for 5, or else it's just, you know, it's just going to sit there and do nothing. But we also have Disciples of the Inferno. When a non-creature source you control would deal damage to a creature, battle, or opponent, it deals that much damage +2 instead. So, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't, that could potentially mean that my spells are dealing +2 damage. Now, I don't know, because I'm not perfect with the system, but it's pretty damn cool. And last but not least, for the spells, the artifacts, I should say, you know, the dessert, we've got the Molten Vortex, rather disappointing dessert, but regardless. Discard a land card, deal 2 damage to target creature or player. Seismic Assault. Discard a land card, deals 2 damage to any target. Now, for Molten Vortex, you have to pay the red, so it's basically cycling for a red, but not too bad. Double Vision. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for that copy. Underworld Dreams. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to him or her. And finally, just because I like dragons, Dragon Cultist. When commanded creatures you own have, at the beginning of your end step, if a source you control dealt 5 damage or more damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. So, theoretically, I have a way to get bodies, I have a way to deal damage, I have a way of slowly but surely pinging my opponents and dealing a decent amount of damage that way, which is quite nice. Let's go over some of the combos to win in this deck. Combo number 1. We would like to have... where is he? Where is it, I should say. I'm trying to find it. I had it for a second. It's 2 spells, I should say. We want to have on the field... We want to have the spell that's already been played. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the fucking thing. Where is it? Insult and Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Theoretically, we want to only have to pump this up for like 10 or 20, and if we're very unlucky, 30, which is going to be difficult to do. So to do that, we're going to use Mana Geyser. So the way we're going to go about it is, on our turn, upkeep, nothing happens. Main phase, we're going to play Mana Geyser, get the mana that everyone's tapped. We're going to play Insult with our own mana. Then it's going to mean that everything, all the damage is doubled. Then we're going to play Jaya's Immolating Inferno for like 30, 40, even 50 if we really have to. That's pretty good. So that's combo 1. That's basically everyone is going to die because it's going to be dealing double damage. And the most we want to be doing is like 30, maybe even 20 or 40. Like, theoretically. It might not happen, but it could happen. So that's pretty good. But if we want a board wipe... And even though board wiping ourselves kind of sucks, but we still want a board wipe, we want to use someone like... Where is they? They are here. Pestilent Spirit. So we're going to use Pestilent Spirit, and then we're basically going to cast things like... hold up. End the Festivities. Not Grape Shot. Here we go. Fiery Confluence. Hold up, I just saw the thing. Cosmotronic Wave, or Hazardous Blast, or Rough. So, if we need a board wipe, theoretically, if we have Pestilent Spirit on the field, we have 5 board wipe options in the field. And that's not counting things like Thermo Alchemist, who's right here, which not Thermo Alchemist. That's not even counting using stuff like what do they call it? What do they call it? What do they call it? Tor Wakai the Younger, who isn't really gonna like. Actually, no, not really. So basically, we've got 5 board wipe options, like I just said 15 seconds ago. 5 board wipe options. Pretty sweet. The basis of it is I built this whole deck entirely to go again, entirely for. I built the deck to win, to have fun, but to win while having fun instead of to have fun and win. Yeah, so that sounds stupid. I built the deck to win while having fun, not to have fun while to have fun while winning, not to win while having fun. There we go. That makes so much more sense. Yeah, so the whole goal is to theoretically destroy everything my opponents have, control the board, and if I can't control the board, wipe everyone out as quickly as possible. There are a few upgrades I would like to do to this deck. The main one is I want to get Torbjorn. I want to get I can't remember Runaway Steamkin. And I would like to get things like Blasphemous Act, as well as just some spells that are really thick and just humongous. Things that cost a decent chunk of mana, but will do like an absolute fuckload of damage. But yeah, so the other thing is I've got about 9. Like I think I got about like 20, like 40 total spells in this deck. I think. It's a large number of spells, an almost obnoxious number of spells, but because I've got Tor Wakai, those spells are always going to be constantly generating damage, which I think is really quite special. Hopefully you'll see me again. I haven't disappeared, I've just been away for a while. But it was really fun to make this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please leave a like, leave a comment. Also, I should have a few more deck tech videos up and running. And I'd like to see in the comments what kind of content you guys would like. What sort of deck tech videos and stuff you'd like to see me do. Anyway, bye for now. Thank you. And see you guys later. Bye.